Hello there, friends. Maylee here from Turn It Up Consulting for a little bit of Turn It Up wisdom. Those of you that have been following me for a while have heard me talk a lot about the 5 superpowers. And I call these my 5 superpowers for success in collaboration and relationship building. And so I'm going to do a series of these videos for you because I want to take those 5 superpowers and I want to kind of tie them in to some of the things that I'm hearing that you guys out there in the entrepreneur space are experiencing, and what developing these skills can do for you inside of that entrepreneur space. Not just for yourself, not just if you do intentional collaboration, not just if you are looking to improve your relationships, but simply how can it help you with your entrepreneurial endeavors? How can it help you move your business forward? So I want to start out by reiterating those 5 superpowers for you. Remember that they are: pause, listen, be curious, assume good intentions, and withhold judgment. So I'm going to take each of these 5 superpowers and I'm going to address them in each in a separate video. So today I want to start with the first one, which is the superpower of pause. And I want to relate this to some of the things that I'm hearing that you're out there feeling in the entrepreneur space. And I'm going to be really upfront and honest. There are things that I feel myself as an entrepreneur. So are you this person? Are you out there and you're trying to follow the advice of all the gurus? So you hear this particular expert say you need to do this thing, and you hear a different expert say, oh, but you need to do this thing. And another expert tells you you need to try this strategy. So maybe you're one of those entrepreneurs like me, I'll admit, and you're trying to follow all the gurus. So what that ends up being is that I'm just trying one thing after another, and trying to meld all the strategies together too. What this can bring me to is kind of a lack of clarity. Like, what should I really do next? Where do I get some clarity around how I'm supposed to be moving my business forward? It can feel like I don't have focus or that I have no direction, and I can feel confused, stuck, overwhelmed, burnout, however you want to explain those. And so if I can learn to develop a regular practice of pause, I can address a lot of these issues. So let me tell you a little bit about why I believe pause can be a part of what helps us address that. Those of you who have worked with me in a group setting before, any kind of group work, you'll know that at the beginning of every session, I encourage everyone to close their eyes and take 30 or 60 seconds just to pause. Still. What this kind of pause practice can do for us is it can help tamper down the noise. We have a lot of noise going on in the world right now. Especially for entrepreneurs. We're busy trying to do all the things and follow all the gurus. And sometimes we just need to stop and take a breath. And so pause can help us clear away some of that noise. The other thing that pause can do for us, especially if we develop a practice of pause, is that it can help us to be more responsive and less reactive. So, that amygdala back here in the base of our brain, that ancient part of our brain. Some people call it the reptilian brain. This is what is the center of the fight, flight, or freeze reaction. And so when we feel threat, whether that's a real physical threat or we just feel threatened in some way, that can trigger that amygdala response, that fight, flight, or freeze response. And when we do that, we take this reasoning part of our brain up here offline. And it can take 90 seconds sometimes to get the reason to kick back in. This is physiological. This is biological response that your body is having. And so the only way that you can rest assured that you're going to take a moment when you're in the middle of that amygdala response is if it's practiced. If you've practiced pause enough to where it's become like muscle memory. And you have to know what your triggers are to do that and engage it when you're triggered. But in order to do that, again, you have to have practiced it. So to become more responsive and less reactive, a pause practice can help us do that. The other thing that pause practice can do is provide us with some focus. So if we can take a minute and again, just kind of wipe away all that noise, it can help us focus, and that focus can bring clarity. I don't know about you, but a lot of times I'm an information junkie. Like I am absorbing content all the time. I'm listening to a podcast. I'm reading an article. I'm listening to a book. I'm watching a video. I crave information. And a lot of times I don't give myself the appropriate amount of time to let my brain actually absorb all of that. Now, good sleep is one way to make that happen, but that's a topic for another day. But a pause away from input. And so for me, this might look like a meditation. It might look like my daily walk with no headphones. It might look like sitting on my front porch and watching the birds and not having any other stimulation. So that pause can really give our minds an opportunity to absorb and process some of what we've been taking in. And that can give us some incredible focus and clarity. But again, it takes a regular practice in order to get there. The last thing that I would say that I think this pause practice, building a pause practice, can give to you as an entrepreneur, it can really help you move forward as an entrepreneur, is that in these moments of pause, this is when our creativity kicks in. Once our brain has an opportunity to kind of process things, then we may have that aha moment. And if you think about the last time you had a really good idea, I'm gonna bet that you can say it was somewhere like, I was driving the car, I was in the shower, I was cooking my breakfast, but you weren't taking in stimulus. You had taken a moment to mentally pause. So, some of those things that may be kind of itching at you and tugging at you and causing you issues right now, you're trying to follow all the experts, you're trying to do all the things, you are maybe lacking focus, maybe you are overwhelmed or confused, or maybe you feel stuck. I want to encourage you to develop a practice, a regular daily practice of pause, so that you can create this focus and clarity and creativity and thoughtful responsiveness through your practice of pause. So I've mentioned a few things that I would suggest as your pause practice. Maybe that's meditation or journaling or a gratitude practice or prayer. And it may come with motion attached. Like my part of my daily pause is my walk every day when I go out and I walk my neighborhood every day. So I want to know, like, how does this resonate with you? Do you see how pause can be connected to all of those benefits for you? And is it possible for you to work in some kind of daily pause practice? I want to know. I want to hear from you. So give me some comments, send me an email, connect with me on Facebook or LinkedIn. Let me know how you're feeling about this idea of building a pause practice to help yourself in your entrepreneurial journey. I look forward to talking to you soon. Thanks.